When you first notice or are told about a maintenance issue in your property, the first thing which comes to mind is who can I get to fix it, followed pretty quickly afterwards by how much is it going to cost. Now, from the customer's perspective, this can be very daunting if you're a homeowner who's not familiar with the pricing structure in the trades business. And it can also be daunting if you're not able to plan a method, which is a step-by-step guide listing each task all the way through to the completion of the repair. I'd say it's a bit like baking a cake, following a method, baking a cake. Now, if you don't have the expertise to diagnose a problem, then how are you expected to understand a quotation? You'll only understand it if you've physically seen a job being done yourself before, or you've tackled something similar yourself. Okay, so if that's you I'm describing, and let's face it, there'll be a lot of people out there, it's advised you get 3 quotes. Even with quotes, it can be really difficult for the homeowner to arrive at the right decision. Now, some of you will know my day-to-day job is to maintain properties and property renovation, and I've got the benefit of dealing with many of the same type of issue over and over again. So when I get asked to look at an issue, I'm already calculating and estimating what it may cost. Then I actually visit the property so I can actually see what's going on, because only so much can be taken from photos and from being told what the issue is. You have to actually be there to see the extent of the problem with your own eyes and to see if there's any obstacles which could have a contributing factor on the costs. Now, I work on behalf of a group of landlords, and my job is to advise my clients and to arrange contractors to do the work that's needed to be done. Now, homeowners don't typically have that level of guidance, which is why it's always prudent, if you are the homeowner, to get 3 quotes. That's not cowboy proof, but it's a good way to get a rough idea of what the cost will be. Yes, it's going to waste time of 2 or 3 companies that you're going to get quotes from, but there's no other way as a customer. So I'll give you an example of a recent maintenance issue that I've dealt with myself. And before I go into this, it's not yet concluded. But if you're watching this 6 months from now, hopefully it will have finished. Regardless, I'm going to put a link down in the comments box below so you can check it out and just see what's gone on with it. Now, it was a reported issue that came through to me. There's a leak that was coming through on the ceiling of the kitchen wall, the back-to-back end terrace property. It's a property that I'd visited before, so I was familiar with the issues. When I saw the photos, I could diagnose it straight away. It had a history with really poor guttering, but actually it wasn't just a pre-existing guttering problem that was the issue, and that's why visiting the property is really important. So in addition to the guttering, there were defects to the chimney. So my advice to the landlord was to contact their neighbour, as the chimney was at the front of the building and it was shared, and this is where the party wall agreement comes into effect. Now, if the neighbour's not on board, it can slow down the process. If they are on board, it speeds up slightly, which is the ideal scenario. So in this case, I advise the landlord that there won't be much difference in price if you're going to remove the chimney to repairing it, because either one would require scaffolding, and the scaffolding is a huge chunk of the actual job. So then you've got physical labour, then you've got the expertise labour. And what I mean by the expertise labour is the tradesperson's knowledge. And that's an accumulation of experience which cannot be calculated at an hourly rate or a day rate. And it's another costing factor not always considered by the homeowner. So anyway, back to this issue. On my first visit to the property, I identified there was another problem on the huge chimney at the gable end. So with all this information, I know scaffolding is needed on 2 separate ends of the property. There'll be materials costs and there'll be waste removal costs. Altogether, I think that'll come to about £1,600 to £2,000 mark. My estimate for the labour will be between £1,400 to £1,800 mark. So I'll be looking at around £3,500 to £4,000, give or take, to have all the leaking issues resolved in this property. The one thing I hope you get from watching this and take away from this video is to have a better understanding of the process taken when dealing with maintenance issues in your property and how you should be evaluating quotes. And as for my calculations, prices depend very much on scarcity of skilled trades, demand, material costs, and whereabouts in the country you are. I hope you find all this information helpful. Thank you for watching, and please check in with me again another time on one of my future videos. Take care.